This is Hannibal here from the HannibalTV.com. Daily Wrestling News Update. Smackdown did a zero point 0.5 rating last night. Stone Cold Steve Austin, for now, is denying the speculation that he's working out more because of a potential WrestleMania match. He's saying it's because he looked like shit and he just wants to look better, I guess. He put out a video saying something along those lines. But of course, he's still be in the negotiation process now. And I believe for last year's WrestleMania, they denied that he was going to have a match right up until he ended up having the match. So it doesn't mean much. I did post a link to CM Punk, who Austin is rumored to potentially be in the hearsay of potentially wrestling at WrestleMania. He did an MMA event last night as a commentator, and him and the other commentators were joking about his AEW backstage skirmish, which is what he's suspended for right now, and he's also nursing injuries. So it remains to be seen whether either of those guys will appear at WrestleMania. John Cena posted another thing on Instagram today, speculating both possibly maybe he'd be wrestling Austin or Logan Paul. It was Austin's body with a Logan Paul face put on there. Nyla Rose, I guess, might have some problems wrestling in Texas if a bill is passed that's going to make it illegal for children to attend events where performers are dressed in drag. The bill has not been passed yet, but apparently, according to the Wrestling Observer, that would prevent not only kids from attending drag shows, but any event where performers are in drag, which in theory would include AEW, as I guess they have several wrestlers that perform in drag. And I think Nyla Rose is the current TBS champion, from what my research showed me. AEW is continuing to sign cruiserweight wrestlers. They signed AR Fox earlier this week. I believe this Dante Martin is already under contract. This Bandito guy, and most recently, I don't know if he's a cruiserweight, but some Japanese wrestler where I won't even try to pronounce their names, and they're wondering why ratings are crap right now. Dynamite hitting a low this past week, and Rampage regularly getting lower ratings than NXT. They really seem to be going after this niche smart market of people that are going to watch anyways. And I don't think any of those wrestlers that were recently signed that I just put up there are going to get you any more mainstream fans. But they do have a good house for tonight's AEW Full Gear pay-per-view, which is in the New York market. But I did recently look up, they have all this content, exactly how many matches they have a week. For their dark show that aired this week, they had 15 matches. Rampage last night, it's only a 1 hour show, it had 4 matches. Dark Elevation had 10 matches, and Dynamite for a 2 hour show had 5 matches. So that's a total of 34 matches, plus their pay-per-view tonight on the main card alone supposedly has 11 matches. So that's 45 matches for AEW. It just seems to me like, why have so much content, especially for the YouTube stuff? Why not just make your TV shows really good, or maybe do an hour YouTube show? Who has the time to watch 45 matches? And keep in mind, most wrestling fans are going to watch other products too. And recently, Nick Aldis made some comments about NWA interest might be down a bit. Their YouTube has grown. I can tell you that because I do follow their YouTube, but there's also AEW now to compete with. And people wonder why MLW and NWA are less relevant now, and Impact even less relevant, although Impact does have a good YouTube following because they've been on there and they have all that classic YouTube footage since like 2004 or 2002, since whenever they started. But there's just so much wrestling content on there. It just makes it nearly impossible to keep up with. I don't, and you wonder why AEW is in the red. Why sign so many wrestlers just to have 45 matches a week? It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know how anyone could sit through 45 matches a week. It just seems tedious. I did watch, by the way, this week's episode of WOW because it was on YouTube. And WOW, by the way, gets more better ratings than both New Japan and Impact. It got a 0.06 rating this past week compared to New Japan 0.01 and Impact 0.02. But I actually like the WOW show overall. It's geared towards kids, but I didn't mind it. Eddie, I just said what happened with Nyla. They're putting there's a law that might pass in Texas preventing people in drag wrestling in front of children, which in theory would affect AEW shows there. However, they could just avoid going to Texas if they wanted, or who knows, with Tony Khan's money, exceptions could potentially be made, but that law has not passed yet. It's just supposedly in the works to potentially be passed. Hello to right from North Shelby, or Shelby North, wherever that is. Michael Piper walking around well. I did post a video of her today. I recently moved my couch because I was realizing that sitting on my couch was preventing me from doing DDP yoga. So now my living room is strictly a yoga room, and